Thank you, Seth.
Have a good meeting.
Okay, I think we got everybody in.
Yeah.
Good
I hope.
evening and welcome to the April 16th meeting of Scituate Conservation Commission. Couple quick things to read. This meeting is being held virtually as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Scituate in accordance with the open meeting law. And two, town of Scituate is a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during our meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask our committee members and all that participate to commit to these standards and to support and respect our community. Okay, that said, we have an agenda. Would anyone like to?
I make a motion. Oh, any add-ons?
Um, at the end of it, if we have a minute for open space or whatever, but it would be minimal and only if we have extra
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as written with the possibility of talking open space.
Thank you,
I'll
Penny.
second that.
Thank you, Richard. All in favor? Who do we have here? Brendan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Oh, you seconded it. And Jen, is Jen fully in?
No, no.
Okay. And Frank, yes. Great. Okay. So we are going to start where? We're going to go to,
28 Cherry Lane.
okay. And this is a continuation, so there's nothing to read to open it.
Correct.
Okay.
And we didn't get to it last time because the meeting ended.
Right.
So that's how we're here.
Okay.
I'm going to unmute Janet to speak to it. I think we had asked to pull the project in a bit more so it wasn't going so close to the salt marsh and provide a bit more detail. A few of us came there for a site visit a couple weeks ago so we could see the site and better understand how they were looking for an area to have better turnaround for their car, getting out of the driveway so they didn't drive over the septic. But I'll let Janet talk also. She should
Great.
be
Hi,
unmuted. Okay.
Janet Clitty,
And
homeowner, 28A. As Jen said, we had a site visit on March 18th, and we had two major feedback points. One was to more clearly identify the driveway area, and you see that in blue on the plan here, and also to reduce the scope of grading out into the buffer area that's in gray. I think we've marked it as a, safe zone for cars and plows and whatever traversing along the border of the driveway. And I'll turn it back over for any additional questions on the revised plan.
okay, thank you. I know a few of you went out there. We'll start with Penny. I think you visited the site.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
This is much better than the original. I I'm not sure. Grade towards wall decrease.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have
Yeah.
added. So we came in 5 feet from the original
Yeah.
that gray area. Um, yeah.
All right. What about the grading there? Remember you were going to bring some fill in or something?
Yeah, just because we've had so much erosion over the last few decades, just to bring it back up to its
Okay.
original level and be able to properly, slope out so it's not a dramatic drop.
Okay, and
And
you're
that's that
putting,
gray area.
yeah, and you're putting in vegetation right along that in
Correct.
between the
Yes.
rows. That's
Yep.
good. No, it's much better than originally.
Okay.
I'm okay, Frank. Thank you,
Okay. Um, who else went out there?
Eric.
Eric, want to comment first? Second.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the amended plan. So thank you for sort of working with us on that and try to reduce as much impact within the 50 as possible, while also acknowledging that it is a tricky site, given the slope off the existing driveway and not being able to move over on top of the septic system. So yeah, I think this plan looks good. And I don't really have anything else to add. Thank you.
Okay. Richard?
Well, I didn't get out there, but from what I can see on this, it's certainly much improved and in line with kind of what we asked for. I guess the only question I would have at all is something that we would need to know, I think, is the amount of fill and what the fill is going to be. But in terms of the overall effect, it's much more reasonable, and I'm good with it.
Okay. And Brendan?
Oh, sorry. I was going to answer the question about the fill, or do you want me to wait till everyone's spoken?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's 455 cubic feet. That's fill and the gravel on combined.
Okay. Brendan?
Yes, I also didn't get out there, unfortunately, but yeah, I agree with everyone else. It just looks like a better plan. I appreciate it. I have no other questions.
Okay. Jen, do you have anything else you want to add? Do we have anybody
No, I
Okay.
do not.
in the audience? Okay. I'll take a motion.
I make a motion to close.
Uh,
I don't
negative
know.
determination.
I'm sorry, I didn't know which it was. I
Negative
make a
three.
motion for a -3.
Okay, that's from Penny. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
From Eric. All in favor, Richard?
Yes.
And Brendan?
Yes.
Frank, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
So next up,
We have a
gonna-
couple administrative items, if that's okay.
sure.
If we can do one open space item, I know there was some comments that wanted to be made at the last meeting that we didn't get to. If we could, I don't know if he's on the call, if he would like to speak to
What are
an
we
open
looking
space.
for, Jen?
I think maybe it's Mr. Hill to speak about Border Street.
And bees.
Okay. Can we see him in the waiting room?
I'm looking.
Can put his hand up.
Yeah, please raise your hand. Okay. So
Yeah, we found him.
yep, I'm asking him to unmute. Yeah,
Can you
he's
hear
gonna,
us, Mr. Hill?
Oh, there he is. He's got his hand up still, but he hasn't.
Can you unmute yourself?
well,
Anything?
while he's, I don't know, we'll have to figure that out, but we didn't get
There
to
he
vote
is.
some of
There
the,
he is.
oh, okay, good. All right, great.
Can you hear us, Mr. Hill?
I can.
Oh, great. Good evening.
Thank you very much for hearing my,
And you just want to give us your name and address for our record on the meeting, please.
yes, Roger Hill, 207 Booth Hill Road.
Good evening. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I had bees there for a number of years when Mr. Blakey owned the property and they thrived. And I know there are some concerns about being open space and public land and everything, but I was just wondering if there's any possibility of bringing them back. A number of things I can offer. I can take, one, I don't make any money off of this. And I can donate all the honey to the food bank. And if any of the high school kids or with their parents' permission, obviously, want to learn anything about bees, I'd be more than happy to show anybody who's interested to come along. And I know the plans going forward are kind of in the air, not knowing what's going to happen at the property. But as it is now, it was absolutely ideal for bees, and they just thrived there for I think 5 years I had them there. And I'd love to bring them back.
Okay. Whereabouts did you have them on the property, Mr. Hill?
I had them on the southeast side along the woods. If you're heading south, the left field.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had 4 beehives tucked right up against where the field met the woods.
Okay. Well, that helped just so we have a little better understanding.
No, I
Um,
understand. I understand
okay.
completely.
Jen, I don't know if you want to start, or we can start with some members. Do you have any?
I think where we are is we have some concern. We haven't decided our plan for this site. We're working on it. I mean, that's just the logistical part of it. That's not even getting into the habitat part of it. But we're still in the process of figuring out our plan for whether it's, parking, a meadow, a trail, all of that that's in progress. And I don't think it'll be figured out even in the next couple weeks. I think it'll be over the season.
Right.
So if there's nothing in the works now, it'll at least be the end of the summer before something gets started.
We don't know.
Really don't. So the Border Street property is a little different. We have more than a few things to sort out.
Yeah.
But I think as Jen said, part of the issue is the logistics of where things are going, and I understand the hives can move if they need to be moved. But we also, at the moment, there's been a few other things. We had a request to get bees in at Appleton Field, and we had some pretty lengthy discussion, and we decided that was not the ideal situation at the time. I guess why don't I let some of the members go through first, and then we can go from there. I guess really, Eric, you were the one that had the most information on this before. Maybe you have some questions from Mr. Hill or whatever. And unfortunately, this is holdovers from the last meeting, and we still have a fair amount to do this evening. So if we could keep it on the relatively shorter side for now, I'd appreciate it. But Eric, why don't you?
Yeah. So, Mr. Hill, I just want to first start by saying I appreciate your enthusiasm and your commitment to education. With regards to what you're doing with the honeybees. From a conservation perspective, I'm of the position, based off of a consensus within the academic community, who discovered honeybees present a threat to our native species of pollinators. I understand there's some counter evidence to support the opposite. A majority of recent studies demonstrate that there are some negative effects. And because they are a massively introduced managed species that are not native to North America, they've contributed to a couple of the following things, including outcompeting some of our native species just by sheer numbers for food and resources. And this is general sort of statement. And I'm not commenting on your monitoring and management of them, but in an unmanaged situation, they can spread disease to our local pollinators because they do share the same communal resources in terms of flowers and water sources. And as a result, they do disrupt the existing pollinator networks that limit our native populations. There's also the concerns of swarms and crossbreeding with more aggressive African honeybees, which certainly would go against the intent of the property for it being open and welcoming to all. And our native species of pollinators really do support a diverse range of other organisms like our native bird populations. And they're also essential to the survival of many of our native species of plants that have developed exclusive partnerships with some of our more solitary native pollinators, something that unfortunately honeybees are unable to replicate. Because of this, and I'm of the position that it probably wouldn't be appropriate to have these be reintroduced to a site that we're hoping to open up for the community and really have a strong focus on conservation.
Okay. I understand. It probably won't go any further than this then. And I appreciate your time. I kind of get the feeling of the direction this is going. So I don't need to take too much more of your time. And I appreciate you taking yours to have me come before you.
Just thank you for your time presenting. And again, I just want to double down, appreciate your enthusiasm and again, commitment to education. I think that's important. So thank you.
Maybe going forward, we could readdress this and I could get you a little bit better information to remedy some of your fears, but I certainly don't want to put anybody in jeopardy and I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But again, thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Hill, give just 1 second. And
yes, sir.
I think I don't want to cut off anybody else, but I think that you're catching this, and it seems like there's an awful lot to discuss, and this meeting tonight isn't the place to do it. And we would certainly entertain that. I mean, this goes both ways, and certainly bees. And I was surprised at some of the information I learned from Eric at the last time, but I certainly entertain chatting more about it. We have community gardens and folks with doing different things. So I'd hate to just say this is out the window, but I don't think it'd probably be better if we had some sort of dialogue outside of an open meeting, and maybe we can address that at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. Bye now. Okay. Are those the pieces? What else? Oh, we have some orders, Jen?
Yes, I would like to make sure we vote the orders, but if we want to do that later, I think we'll be fine to do it later.
Okay.
If we want to move on to the hearings. Yeah.
Okay. So 107 Edward Foster Road. I know that there's folks on and have an interest in this, but the applicant has requested a continuance to May 5th. Do we have room for that on May 5th?
Yes, we have them on our May 5th agenda. Yes.
All right. So
Eric, I'll make a motion to continue 107 Edward Foster Road to May 5th.
Has it even been opened?
Pardon me, Penny?
Yes, Penny, it was opened at the last meeting.
Okay, because I wasn't there. Okay.
Yep. And we really haven't, we continued it at that meeting right away, right? We opened it and then continued it.
No, we opened it and discussed it, and then the meeting ended.
All right, we were waiting for review and stuff. Okay. All right, well, the applicants requested this continuance, so unfortunately, we won't have a discussion about this evening. And I'm just going to remind the applicant that we will only continue this so many times before they'll have to re-advertise it. So we don't want to waste people's time that have an interest in this and show up for the meeting only to find out it's been moved on again. Okay, I'll take a motion.
I
Richard
thought
gave a motion. I'll second.
Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry, Richard.
No worries.
Second by Penny. All in favor, Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great. 44 Jericho Road. And this is also continued.
Yes, and while we bring the plans up, we do have a few people here if that they could, I think I can find them all to unmute them. We were having it reviewed for stormwater. We've received those comments back from our reviewer, and Janet is on the call if we want to hear from her, whomever you want to hear from first, but just to let you know, she is on the call.
Okay. Well, is there anybody from the applicant at the town side that wants to address this further?
Yeah, hi, Frank, Jen, it's Corey from
Hey,
Town
Corey.
of Scituate. Um,
Good evening.
hi. So we received all the comments, revised the plans, received a second round of comments, and those plans have since been revised. And the engineer from GZA is on the call, I believe. I can't see him, but
Yes, I'm here, Corey.
Okay, hi, Ryan. Yeah, so if I don't know if you want to have Ryan run through the changes, or do you want to what do you want to do?
Is it something that could be done fairly quickly?
I think so. I don't know,
Sure.
Ryan, if you want to just give
Yeah,
a quick
sure.
overview.
If you can give us sort of a little update, that would be helpful.
Sure. Yeah, I can probably do this in under 2 minutes. So the design of the proposed stormwater management system in terms of overall concept and strategy has not changed from the previous meeting. Based on comments that we've received from Horsley Witten, there have been some design updates to the system, which included adding a sediment forebay in front of the rain gardens that are proposed for the northern stormwater management system and the southern stormwater management system. Other changes that occurred as part of the review process included things like modifying pipe elevations and inverts, certain changes to the stormwater management report and hydraulic modeling calculations that I don't think anybody really wants me to get into. But the main change in terms of looking at the park is a sediment forebay has been added to each of the proposed BMPs.
Okay. Jen, do you want to start or comment further?
Not at this time. I would say let's hear from Janet.
Okay. This is Janet
Hi.
Bernardo. Okay.
Yes.
For
Good
the
evening.
record, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
So it's Janet Bernardo. I'm a professional civil engineer with the Horsley Witten Group, and we conducted a peer review of this project. We provided the commission with 3 letters. The last one is dated today. We received the applicant's changes this morning that were really relatively straightforward. We definitely agree that this is an improvement over existing conditions, and as Ryan mentioned, our review included making some edits to the drawings as far as the pipes and the inverts, and making sure that there wasn't any low points that were gonna potentially cause pondings. And they have addressed all of our comments in our first 2 letters, and so our 3rd letter that's today says that we are satisfied with that they've addressed our comments appropriately. They did add and maybe they've always had this, but I thought it was an addition, 2 inlets taking in some of the road runoff. Maybe that had always been there, but I
Was.
saw it this time. Okay, so they've always been taking the road runoff and having it go through the swales. We asked them to make those deep sump catch basins, so that was relatively straightforward.
All right. Thank you. Members, start with Richard.
Yeah, I looked this over and I think I'm pretty happy with it now. I think it looks pretty good. I didn't have any technical questions for it.
Okay. Penny?
All I can say is I think it is going to be wonderful. And I think they have put their due diligence in to come up with the best plan possible for that area. And they've done everything we've asked them to. That's all I have to say. I think it's a great plan.
Okay. Brendan?
I think the plan looks great. I have no other, questions or that's all.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add from our last meeting.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to address this?
I do not see any hands raised.
Okay. I just have one on this the dock gangway piece. There's some flotation showing in that, and I want is there some sort of specification on that? I know we're trying to get away from styrofoam and have sort of encapsulated flotation. Does the applicant or Corey, does anybody know anything about that?
I thought it was just for kayaks.
Well, no, but I think that has to float, right? Don't those piers go up and down in cross section that I saw? Am I wrong?
No, that's correct. There will be a float. There isn't really any specification for what type of float would be there, but there would be a float.
So there's a detail that shows like the ramp. Just trying to find the page.
Is it C202? Ramp and float concept?
No, let's see.
That's
Sorry.
There's your ramp and float con right
There we go. So see that section in the corner and then so there has to be flotation to hold that up. And I think we were
Why? Oh, I see. Yeah.
they're trying to eliminate styrofoam that starts to disintegrate. And we're like looking more towards encapsulated kind of flotation. So that there's a better way to describe it. But I mean, we've seen all kinds of things out there. One time there were concrete encased foam. Those after a while sank or broke up, and we had foam all over the harbor. There's a lot of them that use like those billets. But again, those start to like scrape and then so I'm just wondering if there's anything particular about that, if they had some real plan. Or maybe in our orders, we can write in something to the effect that these need to be encapsulated or something.
That's probably the best idea, Frank. Put it in our orders. What we want there.
Or at least what we don't want.
Or
Yeah.
what we don't want.
Right.
Yep.
Does that make sense? I'm not trying to make it It's just a small piece that's on that, but it's something that I had noticed in looking these over a little more.
Oh, hold on, let me make sure. Yes, we can add that. I'm just unmuting a couple people that got muted.
Hi, this is Corey. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself, but I wasn't able to. So, sure, yeah, with those, we haven't come up with an exact spec for that yet. So this is something that we can adjust to
Okay.
satisfy the commission.
Yeah, just if you could look at that, Corey. I think we've been trying to move away from anything that's going to wind up
in the harbor.
breaking down and then being in
Right.
the harbor. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
okay. That's really all I have. The drainage been addressed, and it seems like this project's been pretty well vetted. So anybody else? Do we have anybody else in the audience or any other members? Okay,
I'll make
take
a
them.
motion to close.
That's
You-
Penny.
Sure, if you want to close an issue,
I make a motion to close and issue.
I'll
Okay,
second it. I'll second it, Frank.
second from Richard. All in favor. Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank. Yes, great. Thank you. Thanks, Corey. Thanks, Janet. Appreciate the design,
Everyone.
folks. Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
You
Thanks.
too. Thanks. Okay, 14 Minot Street.
Yeah.
we do need to open this one.
Yeah. On April 16th at 2025, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 300 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for notice of intent filed by Stephen and Duncan Brown for elevation of an existing home located at 14 Minot Street, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on the posted website.
And we have Jed Hannon to present the project.
Okay.
Great,
Good
thank
evening.
you. Jed Hannon with Atlantic Coast Engineering. Can everybody hear me okay?
We got, yeah.
Great. So this is a notice of intent, as you just mentioned. This is a rustic, old, single-family dwelling. The property is located in Hummerock in the VE 15 zone. The resource areas are Barrier Beach and Coastal Dune. The existing finished floor elevation is 16.0. So it's well below the FEMA requirements. The owners would like to move and elevate the existing structure onto a pile-supported foundation. The proposed finished floor elevation would be 21.0, so well above the FEMA flood zone requirements and well above the 10th edition, which we have to comply with for Mass Building Code this year. There is a new proposed septic system. If you look on the plan, you can see the proposed shifting of the house away from the resource areas towards Central Ave. And on the left-hand side is the proposed septic system. The septic system has been reviewed by the Board of Health, and we addressed a few comments, and they've basically approved it, subject to Conservation Commission approval. The structural piling plan is attached to the notice of intent. Also, it's all basically wood pile supported, 12-inch diameter circular piles. There is no ZBA requirements here. This is a pre-existing conforming lot size and setbacks. And we're not really proposing any shifting of the house in terms of side setbacks, just changing the rear and the front. In terms of the driveway, there really is no driveway other than you kind of just pull in and it's gravel and sand and very pervious. Erosion controls obviously would be installed prior to the start of any construction. Those are shown on the plans with details. And we also have roof downspouts down to a stone trench to comply with DEP, BMP requirements for stormwater. But really a pretty straightforward project, elevating this rustic old home well above the FEMA flood zone. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Jen?
Yes, so no DEP comments.
Okay. We'll go to some members. Richard?
I really have no problem at all with this. The only question I have really would be under our jurisdiction because I know where Minot Street, it's a paper street, I know where it is, but I never knew anybody had an address on it. So
There you go.
Now
I've
you
never,
know.
and I don't believe it's in the voting roll. So, because it doesn't have to be a Scituate resident. So, anyway, no, I have no problem with it.
Okay. Penny?
No, I'm all set. Looks good to me.
Okay. Brendan?
No, it looks good. All set.
Eric?
I don't feel.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I was actually caught up on the fact that it was a paper street. That
My point.
just I was just reacting to Richard's comment. Yeah, that I didn't even really think about that. But yeah, no, I like that we're getting FEMA compliant, like that we're moving farther back from the resource area and getting a new septic system. Like check, check, check. Those are all really great things.
Yep.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience for this one?
I do not see any hands raised.
And there's no, I'm seeing a couple of shrubs or trees or something. That's the only vegetation on this site?
Yes.
No. So when people,
hold on, I think Jed got muted. Let me unmute him. I do think there's vegetation on this site kind of sporadically around the border of the property.
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah, there's, as you can see, there's circular green areas laid out. Those are small shrubs, really.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's it's the velocity zone. A lot of stuff gets wiped out during significant events. So
Real beach house.
yeah. So
Jen,
very little vegetation.
Is the parking defined at all, or do people just park on the whole property, or how does that work?
I would say it's really just on the west side between Central Ave and where you see the proposed septic system.
So it's gravel that's compacted enough or usable enough for people to pull in and park their vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I don't have anything.
Okay.
Anybody, we asked for anybody in the audience, no comment, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Can we issue, Jen?
Yes, close an issue.
I make a motion, we close an issue. 14 Minor.
That's a motion from Penny. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Richard. All in favor, Brendan
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great.
Oh.
Good
Excellent,
evening.
thank you.
Did I get you, Eric? I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Okay. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, have a great night.
113 Clap Road, and I think we have a request to continue this one.
Yes, to
To-
May 19th.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to continue 113 Clap Road
Am
to
I
May 19th.
am I correct on that? Somebody,
I'm looking at the,
Oh, did he have to open
oh,
it?
well, this is from James Garfield, and he was requesting May 5th.
okay. I am go with what he said.
May 5th?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. I'm sorry.
Okay. May 5th instead of the 19th.
Yeah. So that's a motion from
Yep.
Penny, right?
Yes.
Or a
I'll
second
second.
from Eric. All in favor, Richard,
Yep.
Brendan,
Yes.
and Frank,
Oh.
yes. Okay. For Oceanside.
That's what you just did.
Oh, you-
No, we just did 113
We
clap.
just-
Now
yeah.
we're doing
I'm
for
sorry.
Oceanside.
Yeah, you guys are just trying to
Yeah, we're just
Keep
trying.
you on your toes, Frank.
Yeah.
All right. So on May 16th, April 16th, at 6 p.m., the Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 4 of the Massachusetts General Laws, Section 30700 Town of Situate Code of Bylaws, for notice of intent filed by Thomas and Patricia Brennan for elevation of an existing home located at 4 Oceanside Drive, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on the town website.
And we have Greg Morse here to present.
Great.
Good evening. This is Greg Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering, representing the property owner and applicant, Tom Brennan and Patricia Brennan. This is their property located at 4 Oceanside Drive. This is a notice of intent to raise the elevation up on FEMA compliant foundation. The existing site is approximately 3,500 square feet in size. As you can see on the plan here, Oceanside Drive is to the south, to the bottom of the page. The Atlantic Ocean is to the north. The property line follows the seawall between the property and the ocean. The property is developed with an existing home. The site is located in land subject to coastal storm flowage. There's a velocity zone that cuts through the house. It's a VE at elevation 19. The front half of the property is an A zone. It's an AE at elevation 15. And for reference, the ground surface out there is approximately elevation 13. The proposal here is to construct new concrete piers under the house. The house would be lifted so that the lowest horizontal structural member would be at elevation 24, and the proposed first floor would be at elevation 26. Again, the velocity zone is at 19. We submitted a set of structural plans stamped by Rivermore Engineering documenting the pier compliance, and DEP had no comments on this project. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Jen?
Yes, DEP had no comments for this one. I do think we are in a coastal resource also, not just the flood zone. But great that they're elevating, and I guess the only comment would be about the driveway and keeping the concrete driveway. But otherwise, we do have the structurals, and I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Richard?
I really don't have any questions.
Okay. Penny?
No, it looks good, and I think the concrete driveway, it's already there, so, it's kind of grandfathered in. I
Right,
love them going up.
right. Um, Eric?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's good that we're getting some more height on the building for compliance. And like Penny said, the driveway is existing,
Yeah.
so nothing to say on that. There's no additional hard surface. I know it says no change in impervious, but just to confirm, Greg, that there's no additional impervious surface being introduced underneath the building of any kind, right?
No, there isn't. The the existing driveway would stay. We're not proposing any changes to that. We're not adding any impervious surface under the building. No.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Good.
Brendan?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, thank you.
Do we have anybody in the audience for this one?
I do think Corey had comment to add from the Corey Miles.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, it's Corey Miles, Town of Scituate, Coastal Management. I'm helping this homeowner apply for a grant from FEMA to elevate this house. It is in the repetitive loss category, so we're just looking to make sure that this house is on a NFIP compliant foundation.
Thank you.
Corey, do you review those foundations or do you, I mean, I think the engineer's stamping them, so he's saying it is, but does anybody in the building department, I guess they look at those together, right?
Yeah, I mean, when they go to apply for a building permit, the building commissioner will look at the foundation, and then I review all the elevation certificates just to make sure.
Okay. Thank you. Greg, it says bituminous concrete driveway, but I'm not really seeing the outline of that. How big is that, or where does it
Sure.
go?
Sure. So if you zoomed in on the plan, you would see there's a line. Basically, it's an asphalt driveway that starts on Oceanside Drive.
Yeah.
And it follows the front of the house. It goes over the lot line onto the neighbor's
Oh,
driveway.
okay.
It's all one continuous
Gotcha.
asphalt. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. And we asked if there was anybody in the audience, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm all set. Take a motion.
I make a motion to close an issue, Jen.
Yes.
Okay, that's from Penny. A second
I'll second.
from Eric. All in favor. Richard
Yes.
and Brendan.
Yes.
Great. And Frank, yes. Thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you.
282
Uh,
Central Ave. So,
Can we
yeah.
take them all at once?
Yeah.
282, 284, and 286, and 288.
Is that if Greg is here for those also?
Are there
Yeah.
anything different with any of them that would be concerned about, or are they all pretty much
They're
the same?
they're all identical.
Okay. So on April 16th, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by David Conti at 128 Central Ave.
No, 282.
282.
I'm sorry, 282. I don't know where that came from. Karen Cavallo at 284 Central Ave. Richard Feely at 286 Central Ave. Arthur and Susan Murphy at 288 Central Ave. For repair a portion of the seawall. So they're all the same thing, right?
I'm happy with that.
Information to access the meeting is available on the agenda post on the town website. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
You.
For the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering, representing the properties 282, 284, 286, and 288 Central Ave. This is an after-the-fact notice of intent for seawall and patio repair on the ocean side of these homes at those addresses. This is an after-the-fact filing because over the winter there was damage to the seawall, and the commission issued a WPA emergency certification authorizing some work to prevent failure of the seawall. To finish the project, there's some additional concrete that needs to be poured, and this notice of intent needed to be filed to document the work that happened there. With all of these properties, they're located in land subject to coastal storm flowage. It's a velocity zone at elevation 18. The seawall that runs between these houses is approximately with a top of wall elevation at elevation 14 and a half. And all of these homes had poured concrete patios between the house and extending right out to the seawall in all of these cases. The pictures that we submitted with the notice of intent showed that the seawall had cracked in several locations and had buckled out and was leaning toward the ocean. And so what was done under the emergency certification was there were boulders placed in front of the wall and restacked in front of the wall to provide a structural support so that the wall wouldn't lean any further. And then there were tiebacks installed through the wall, anchoring the wall back toward the houses. The broken concrete patios were cut, saw cut, and removed and broken up. And what remains to be done is pouring the new concrete patios in their place. That serves as a patio and a cap to the wall at this location. It also is what we're using as the anchor for those tiebacks through the wall. We visited the site last week with Jen. The wall is in pretty good condition today. It's the concrete work that remains to be done. That would be all done from the Central Ave side with concrete trucks on the street and a pump to get the concrete out to the seawall and patio area. We're not proposing any change in the grade. We're not changing the elevation of the seawall. It's going back exactly to what it was pre-construction, just in a better structural condition. DEP had no comments on this. I'm going to turn it over to you for questions or comments.
Thank you. Jen?
Yes, I agree. DEP had no comments on any of them. It is also Barrier Beach as far as a resource area that's there. And it is a pretty unique setup with how these homes are all sort of connected to each other. So I don't have any questions. My concerns that I've had, I've talked to a few people today and they've been addressed. I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay. Richard, it's your neck of the woods.
Yeah, and I was just up there Monday, I believe. I have no question on the actual seawall itself. I can't see any other way to get it repaired. But some of these are also listing patio repairs. Is there any detail on any of that that's to be done in any of these houses, Greg?
Sure. So the patio repair is basically replacing in kind the patios that were there. And there's these pictures that I submitted at the top of the plan. You'll see that the concrete goes from the back of the house out to the seawall. And in this picture here that we're looking at, photo 1, you'll see that patio was saw cut, and you can see the rocks underneath it. That was saw cut where it had broken and cracked, so that area will be poured with a new concrete patio. It's not expanding the patios beyond what were there, but it's replacing those areas that have been saw cut out while the repairs were done to the seawall.
Okay, so the second part of my question in that same photo one, and actually that's where I was walking the other day. Part of the rim of the wall on the seaward side has broken off. That's also true on several of the walls in Humrock, but that's an aside. That is not going to be touched.
No, that wouldn't. This is just the patio repair.
Okay.
Anything on the wall and ocean side of the wall would be boulders or placing boulders up against the wall. No concrete work on the ocean side.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Eric?
Yeah, when we went out for a site visit, it was pretty apparent the severity of the damage that had been occurring behind the wall, even. And as Richard said, there's really don't see how else this situation could have been resolved. While we were there, also, we did take note of just where the patio area sort of lined up with the houses themselves, and it did not appear as if any of the houses were attached to the the patio area. There is one thing I am curious about, though, is there were some images shared that appear to show the concrete having already been poured. I guess I just was wondering if there was some clarification on that end of things.
Yeah, since our site visit last week, I'm not aware of any work having been done out there, but there may have been. I'm not aware of any though, unless those images just came in. I
Yeah,
thought it was on hold until after this.
I think yesterday, and I don't know, Jen, that these were shared by a neighbor.
No, they were shared by the applicant. So it was just the area. I just got lost my image. That area that you can see in the picture where it's been cut, and I guess we saw the tiebacks, like that
Yeah.
area. Material was poured there to reattach the wall back to everything. It wasn't poured anywhere else.
Okay,
So
because
if
it looks like
they're
it's in front
right.
of 286, but I don't see
Um,
anything showing any
yeah,
the
it's
blue house. Yeah.
right. So it is in front of a couple of the houses. It's not in front of all of them, but it was only in this area where it was cut. So you can see where it's patchy when you're there. I'm assuming there'll be like a top surface that'll go on everything at some point. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Like that kind of cosmetic finish to this all has not been done.
Yeah, no, it certainly does not look like it's a finished grade concrete. Like it definitely looks like something they want to finish for sure. But I just was curious on that. That was really my only question. So thank you.
Okay. Brendan?
No, I don't think I have any questions on this one either. So I think I'm good.
Okay. Penny?
I'm all set, Frank. Thank you.
Okay. Craig, I got a few, and just looking at the photos, I didn't get a chance to get out there. We've followed this a little bit, and obviously we've dealt with it back when they had some of the failure. So did the wall get straightened at all, or are they piled up more boulders in front of it and are going to sort of leave it? To your point, they're going to put holdbacks in.
So yeah, the tiebacks were put in. I believe the wall was pushed a little bit toward the houses, so it was a little bit more vertical. It still has a little bit of a bow in it, but I don't believe it's leaning as much as it was.
Okay.
No.
Do you have any idea how much stone that they did place in front? It seems like it's sort of spotty from the pictures. There's places where there's where there's more and some places where there's hardly any. Was there any sort of rhyme or reason to doing this, or?
I I think it was relocating the boulders that were existing on the site already. Over time, the boulders wash out toward the ocean.
Yeah.
So I think it was restacking the boulders that were there. I
Okay.
don't think there were significant boulders brought in, but it was restacking what was there for the most part.
So, okay. And then in front of 286, it shows like rubble and then back to the patio. But that rubble, was that a patio that was there before that broke up, or was there ever a patio in front of that one?
So there was patio in front of all of these houses. So what you see there is stone and former patio rubble that was underneath the concrete slab.
Okay. So is all that the concrete, like we're seeing these photos, some of it looks like people walked in snow or something. So
That's exactly what it was.
so that's been cut away. It's been saw cut and all removed at this stage.
Yes, not all of the patio in this photograph. There's probably a more recent photograph from our site visit last week. But yes, all the patio that was to be removed has been removed at this point. It's been saw cut.
And does the patio, do they sort of stop wherever the decks or I'm not really like seeing a line where that would have a patio. How does that get defined?
So the patios, all of these houses are elevated up on pilings or concrete piers. Already, they're not on poured foundations. The houses that do have a deck out back, these are sonotubes that were connected to the concrete patio that existed there before it was demoed. So the concrete pour between the lots went right across the property lines. The patio didn't stop at the lot line and the next person's patio started. It was one continuous pour along this wall. And so that's how it will go back, is one continuous pour for all four of these properties.
Okay.
Interesting.
Frank,
Yes.
just as a point of information, further down, a little south, a bit south of this area, where the Army Corps of Engineers put in a wall from Newell Street down to the center of town. The same thing happened between Newell Street and Concord Street. And so back in around 1940, they did exactly the same thing to the wall, which to this day still leans towards the ocean. And they put the rocks in front of it, and it hasn't moved in what now, 80 years.
Huh.
I'm happy to show anybody there.
Is that like a family story, Richard, or Laura?
No, it's just that this has happened before down here, and
okay.
a very similar remedy was used 80 years ago.
I knew that you weren't talking from experience, so I just didn't know if that was something that
I would have been a baby then, thank you.
The baby.
All right. And we've got a DEP number for this, Jen?
Yes, each site has their own filing, so their own DEP number.
Okay. So one more time, and I'm sorry, I just got drifted on a couple of things. So the concrete that's being poured is not going to be any greater than it was before. Is that
correct?
Okay. I don't have anything else. Okay.
So do we want to close an issue, Jen?
Do we have any abutters?
Oh shoot, did we ask for that? Okay. Vicky Spillane.
All right, I'm unmuting. I'm unmuting Vicky if she can unmute on her end.
Vicky, can you hear us or can you? Looks like you're muted.
Mr. Snow, you're having a problem with Miss.
Sorry, there we
She's on
go.
now. There
No,
you go.
we got it, I
So-
think. Thank you, Seth.
Sorry about that. I was trying, it just wasn't taking. I'm not an actual abutter. I'm up on the cliff. I'm at 25 Cliff Road. And I have no issue or problems with the work that was done. I'm happy they could do it and save their houses and save their patios. But my concern is with the aftermath of the crossover to the beach that was used for the big machines to get down to the beach to go out and bring the boulders down. I had sent some pictures to conservation last week of the work that was done, the pictures of the pathway that was cut to get down there. And then I sent a couple of pictures of what it looks like now. Basically, the slope of the crossover, the crossover at street level is pretty smooth, but when you go down to get down to the beach, it is very, very steep now with a couple of levels and just dangerous. Me and my neighbors have just, it's one of those things where you have to almost walk sideways to get down to it and very difficult to get up. A couple of people fell. So this is the only public access to the beach from the cliff end of Hummerock. And we're just looking to see if there's anything that can be done to remedy this.
Okay. Thank you. Richard, are you familiar with that?
Very familiar with it. And I was just actually, I went up there the other day. Jen asked me to check something out up there. And it is very steep. It isn't always that way. And unless the people who moved the boulders actually dug down, I don't see all of that happened other than the natural things that happen in Humrock. That happens where I am too. Right now, we've got about a 15-foot drop. By July, it will probably be level. It goes back and forth. I don't know of anything that can specifically be done. And she is absolutely right. It is quite steep right now.
No, it was dug out. It was dug out. It actually would have been better if they had just left the path that they dug because it was smooth and it went down straight to the beach. Then when they brought all the rocks back, and I sent in pictures, the pile of rocks to each side of the pathway were probably, I don't know, 8 feet high, 6 feet high. And when they smoothed it all out, I'm assuming some of those rocks went down on the slope and just piled up on different levels. It's like ledges. It's a mess. It's basically a mess.
Okay. If I guess I would say if the whoever did the work created that, then they probably should have leveled it back off. That's just my opinion.
Well, I did ask one of the workers that were there when they were finishing the work, and they said that that's how their boss was told to do it. They were told by their boss to do it that way. Didn't really want to give me any information. So this was back in what, December maybe?
So are you saying that prior to this, there was to get the work done, the contractor used material there and created a ramp so they could drive down and get the boulders to there. And then when they were finished working, they removed that ramp?
Well, yes, it wasn't a ramp per se. It was like they dug up a path. And I sent in pictures to Jen and Josh. I don't know if you got them, but showing the actual machinery and the piles next to the I guess it was a makeshift road to get down to the beach.
Okay. Greg, are you
Frank?
familiar? Yes. Go
I
ahead.
just want to say from being out there, I'm of the opinion that they could not have left what they used as an access point. They restored it from my vantage point when we were there, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, to what conditions would have naturally been like. And since December with wave action and, storm activity, it appears as if that that slope has returned to what you would expect it to be at this time of year. It would have been inappropriate, I think, to have left the access that they had to excavate out. I think that what remains, as Richard said, is consequence of just wave action and storm activity over the past few months.
Well, I've been there for 25 years and it looks to me like they smoothed it out and just as they were smoothing, as rocks fell down the slope, they just left them and it formed ledges and a mess. So, I do understand about the waves and I do understand about the tides, but this is not from tides.
Okay. Greg, are you familiar with any of that?
I've walked that access way in and out on numerous occasions. I don't know what it looked like before the contractors, touched this site. I know what it looked like the other day when I was out there. If the commission wants us to smooth or move any rocks around, I'm sure we can accommodate doing that. But in my view, I mean, it didn't look bad, but I'm not the one using it. And I think you have conflicting interests too with, beach access being nice and easy to walk versus having this moved and elevated like an elevated landform or a dune, which is probably better environmentally. So you have conflicting interests there. But I'm sure we could move some rocks if the commission felt it was appropriate to do so.
Well, again, there's always going to be a slope. We're not saying that we want, there's always going to be a slope there, but this is a fairly steep incline now for people to get up and down. So anything that you could do would be wonderful.
I'm just I don't want to carry this on, but so the drop off that is there now, is that created by machinery or was it created by wave action over the winter? Do you think?
When I saw in December, it was by machinery. My friends have gone down recently. They said it's still a mess. Again, there's obviously a slope because you can't go from street level down to the beach without a slope, but it's never been like this. It's definitely from the work that was done.
Frank, may I add that this is the area where a lot of cobble also gets put when they clear the roads after storms,
Right.
just to add to the toughness of the spot.
So yeah, when they're doing the cleanup, they push it there and then push it down or whatever.
Right.
And we try to communicate to the instructions are to push the cobble from the road to the beach, not to like leave it there. But it's just it is a changing location.
Yeah.
I guess go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that's a whole nother issue with the piles of rocks along the road, along Central Ave on each side. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But as far as this crossover, which everybody uses to get to the beach, it's not good.
I guess what I'm wondering is, let's say the applicant seems like they're willing to smooth stuff out a little bit, so they go in and push some material down there, and I'm just wondering if this is going to get washed away again. Those, and we all know this. Usually in the winter, more gets scoured, and the contour changes, and then it changes again. Richard said that earlier in the hearing. I mean, it's kind of a moving target.
Well, it is, but I think it's worth a shot. I mean,
okay.
It's definitely, if they're willing to do it, that's wonderful. And everyone would love that.
Okay. All right. Just trying to think how we address it in our orders. We can.
Go
ahead, Jen.
I think it's usually people have to return things how they found it. They might say that they've done that, but that's our normal request.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else? All right. take a motion.
I make a motion to close an issue
For a
on
sec-
all four.
Okay, that's
I'll
from
second
Penny.
that. I'll second
Second from Richard. All in favor, Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank. Yes. Great. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
We are at,
Excuse me, before you go, so does that mean they will do it, or does that mean they might do it?
I think we heard the applicant or the applicant's engineer said that they will address it.
Okay,
And
Okay.
and our orders will say that things should be restored. So I think that's where we're at.
okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. Nope, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. How about 10 Country Club Circle? On April 16th, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for the request of a determination of applicability filed by Robert Clogston for construction of a deck located at 10 Country Club Circle, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on the website.
Do we have a image that kind of shows the site?
I'm looking at
Okay.
one.
I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna let I unmuted
Yep.
the applicant, but I'm gonna I have a better an image that shows the deck kind of drawn in more. I'm not able to zoom in on that. Okay, but I'll let you start talking with what the project is, and I'll look for that image.
And you just want to give us your name and address, please.
My name is Robert Clogston. I live at 72 Katydid Lane in Hanson. I am building this. It's a 10 by 20 deck. Okay, so this proposed garage and stuff that you're seeing there was just the most recent survey that we had available. So I kind of drew in where the deck is going. I'm not seeing that there on this plan. But basically, we're building a 10 by 20 deck on the back here, 2-story deck. With full,
2-story?
what's that?
No, I just was repeating 2-story.
2-story, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
There it
Josh.
is. Yeah, and I'm sorry, that's not very, it's kind of hard for me to get it at that scale to get it in there. I apologize.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of repeat what he said, that the work is the deck, not he was using a previous plan that we had for the site, so not any of the other additions or other things being pointed to. The
Correct.
deck is the proposed work for the back of the house.
Oh.
Okay.
So is the relocated deck there?
Excuse me, the relocated deck?
Yeah.
So any of the decks that you're seeing on there, the one off to the right, that was never built. That was proposed in this plan. So right now there's, if you look at the main structure, the rear of the garage, all that's there is just this structure. So this other deck off to the right, as well as that, proposed garage addition there is, and the other, I think it says covered deck there, if you can see it in the, the very faint blue lines there. None of that is there.
Okay, so it's just we're looking at what's drawn in. Okay.
Yeah, what's drawn in. Yeah.
Thank you.
I did provide a rendering of that. I don't see it there. That might kind of help shed a little light on this. Is that available?
I'll look for it, but yes, there was a rendering of the back of the house with the deck with the stairs coming off.
There we
and
go.
there's
Yeah.
like four
Basically,
footings.
Okay.
and a landing for the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Jen?
Um,
And this is here from us because it's in the floodplain?
it is in the floodplain, and I do think it is in buffer to, I think there's a little bit of a stream that goes back there. So it buffered to that, but yes, also in the floodplain. And there was a deck at one point. You can, if you looked at photos of the back of the house, you can kind of see how something was
Yeah.
there. So this is kind of giving people a place to walk to if they, walk out of the house if they open the sliders on the top level of the house.
Okay.
I don't have any particular comments. He's answered mine with the
Yeah.
details about the deck and the
I would like
footings.
to add, one thing if possible. So yeah, there are two existing, so like there was a deck here previously that the customer removed, they removed it. I'm not sure how long ago, but there are two existing sliders on the top and also right now also a back door that aren't accessible basically right now.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Okay. Brendan?
No, I don't think I have any questions. It looks like we have doors that need a deck. Honestly,
does.
I'm looking at the aerials and I don't see a deck even up. It's been a while. So no, I don't have any questions. Thank
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, the only question I have is that the footings themselves, those are the precast that we have a detail for. Correct, Robert?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Yeah, and that's it.
Right. Richard?
No, that was my question. I'm all set.
Penny?
No, look good.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience? I thought I saw a hand up earlier.
I do. I'm going to unmute John and Mary Ellen.
Okay.
They can unmute themselves.
We just need your name and address for the record,
Sure,
please.
it's John and Mary Ellen Rogers, 10 Country Club Circle. Can you guys hear us?
We can.
Okay. This whole project has been downscaled. It's actually closer to the house than the old previous deck and the network of catwalks that it had attached it. Also, the proposed garage has obviously not been done. So it's definitely a downscale. It's the ability to access the slider doors, as you guys can see. That's why it necessitates the two floors, if you would, and also in a back door. The reason for the door, this was all approved, by the way, prior, about 6 years ago, between kind of a real conflict of interest with the previous builder and health issues. We're finally getting back to doing this. Right now, if you walk out of the sliders on the top floor, you'll fall to your death. So it's at this point, it's time to get it done, and Bob is going to basically help us do this. And as I said, you guys have already proved this a while ago, and now it's a much smaller project than it had been. I appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I think it's pretty clear to me this plan really wasn't for this project. It shows the house and contours, and it includes a erosion control, which I assume is not going to get installed for this work. And these decks that got either moved or whatever, they're not there. So, and the garage addition is not happening. That's not part of this project. So the project is simply the 10 by 20 two level deck that that the applicant shows in the picture. So I think some of this stuff can get discarded other than the plot plan does show that brook but they're a good distance from that. So I don't
And that
really
brook's intermittent.
Yep. Okay. And we're not going to accept these wetlands lines or anything, Jen.
Correct.
So it's simply the work right around the house. Okay. Anybody else?
No.
Take a motion.
I make a motion, I believe a -3.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I'll second.
Second from Brendan. He beat you, Eric. Second from Brendan. All in favor. Richard
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
8th, 7th Avenue on April 16th, 6 p.m. Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 4 of the Mass General Laws, and Section 3070 of the Town of Situate Code of Bylaws for a request for determination of applicability filed by Christopher Maynard for repair of an existing piers located at 8 7th Ave, Scituate. Putters and other interested parties are invited to attend.
And Brian Sullivan is here. I'm going to unmute him. And I do have a couple photos to show as well.
Actually,
Okay.
Chris will do the talking. Chris Maynard, he's on there too.
Oh, Chris. All right, hold on. Got it. Chris. I'm unmuting Chris.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Chris?
We hear somebody.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, there's somebody in the background.
If you could just clean up the background noise a little bit and then give us your name and address, please.
There's nobody in there. Christopher Maynard, 441 Washington Street in Whitman.
Good evening. So you want to just give us a little explanation?
Yeah, they have an existing deck there now. And it has 2 rows. The existing deck has 2 rows of the 4x4 posts that go onto concrete footings, but the footings are basically poured on grade. We would like to replace the deck and get rid of one set of posts, so actually reducing the number of footings, and we're going to cantilever the new deck. So we go from like 8 footings that are poured on grade down to a row of 4 footings, and we'd like to use the diamond piers.
Okay. And Jen, is this in because of floodplain?
Yes, they're in floodplain, but they are also in buffer to wetland behind them. This is kind of bordering the just east of where maybe Seaside Scituate is. Like their backyard is that wetland that's in front of Seaside by Scituate. And I don't think the photos that I have, I don't think we will pop up to show. Just that it's in the same location of the current deck, as far as the footprint of the deck, and the backyard is all grass, just to kind of have a view of where they're working.
Okay.
But yes, so it's in buffer, and it's also in land subject to coastal storm flowage. And I wouldn't be accepting any resource line. I wouldn't recommend that, but otherwise the work seemed appropriate for an RDA.
Okay. Thank you. Eric?
I think my biggest question pertains to the existing footings. Are you going to be removing all 8 of them? And if so, what level of excavation do you anticipate?
Just a hand. I would like to remove all 8. I mean, we could leave them in place. Basically, it would just be a hand shovel and a maul to dig them up and get rid of them. And then obviously, let the grass grow back in.
Yeah, no, I was asking because I didn't know if the new pilings were going the same location or if you're
No,
proposing.
the first row of footings or posts are like, say, 7 feet off the house, and then the outside is about 10 or 11 feet off the house. We would be putting a new set of the diamond piers at about 9.5 feet or so, and then cantilevering the deck. So we'd be splitting it in between. They wouldn't go right on top of it or anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, from the photos, it appears like it's up close. To I'm not sure what that resource area may or may not be. I'm just thinking out loud about potential erosion that could occur, or if there's any protection that might be needed. But yeah, it seems like it's pretty low impact if it's all going to be handwork. But that was my biggest question.
Okay. Brendan?
No, I don't have any additional questions.
Okay. Richard?
No, I don't have any questions at this time.
Penny?
Looking good.
Okay. We have anybody in the audience?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. So this house, I think, if I'm right, this is the house that's furthest up 7th, isn't it? You're not down in the bottom of 7th Ave. You're sort of the one that's closest to
Yeah, we're the last one if you're coming from the Oaks, the last one on the left before
on
you
the
have
left.
to turn.
So you've started back uphill. Some of these are pretty.
Yeah, no, we're uphill.
So some of these have some marsh and whatnot going right into them. But I think this house is a little bit elevated of that. There is wetlands all around it, but if there's an existing deck there, and these footings are pretty, probably the simplest way to put something in without a lot of excavating. So I don't see an issue. Okay.
Okay,
And we had no one in the audience, so I take a motion
I make a motion for a -3.
and second
I'll second it.
from Richard. All in favor, Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank, yes. So just so you know, a -3 is good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and do you mind if I ask Chris a quick question?
No, fire away.
Hey, Chris, this is Josh. We talked in the office a few times. I can let you know when it's ready to pick up. Is that how you wanted to do it?
Sure.
The permit? Okay,
Yep.
great. All right, awesome.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Joe. Thank you.
Josh, thanks for all your help. You've been great.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. Administrative updates.
Administrative updates, would love to go back to the order of conditions and vote through those.
Okay. So we had 54 Woodland Road and 61 Woodland Road. Do you want to vote those together?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Did everybody's good with them or have any additions or, well, you'll tell me as you vote.
I make a motion, we accept the orders of condition for Woodlawn. What's
54 and 61, Penny.
54 and 61 as written.
Okay, that's a motion from Penny. A second, please.
A second.
That's from Eric. All in favor, Richard?
Yep.
And Brendan?
Yes.
And Frank? Yep. Okay.
And then 81. Okay, yeah. 81 Surfside and 162 Jericho.
Right. So do those separately. So 81 Surfside.
I make a motion, we accept the orders for 81 Surfside as written.
A second
I'll second it.
from Richard. All in favor? Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Okay. And then 162. Is this the concrete?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Jen,
Make a motion, we accept the orders.
Penny,
Yeah, go ahead.
Jen, how do you want to do this?
I mean, I, my write-up is to vote to deny. I guess
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the box we're checking is deny, and then the reasons why.
Okay. So the motion should be to accept those orders or to deny that?
Well, I make a motion to deny the request from 162 Jericho Road.
As the orders, as written out in the orders
In
or
the denial, yeah.
in the denial. Okay.
I'll
So
second
that's a
that.
motion from Penny, second from Richard. All in favor. Brendan,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Okay, great. And Frank, yes. Okay. So with that one done, certificates of compliance, 99 Scituate Ave.
Yes, it was a expired set of orders for an addition and a deck. They did submit an as-built for the work that was done. And that looked like, what we see there, the addition with the deck in front of it.
Okay,
Okay.
we don't have to do anything.
I think that was the only CFC.
Yep. And then we have a request for modification amendment at 16 Salt Meadow.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So I did put actually, Josh, that last slide shows in the PowerPoint presentation. Um, I don't know how well you can see it, but the plan we approved is the one on the right. The one on the left is what was submitted. This was a couple months ago. He got all this in. We're just getting it on the agenda now for changes to the site. The garage is moved farther away from the street, and because of that, the grading has had to change in order to build it. Um, it's hard to tell what else is different. I know from being at the site, there's at least one other new shed on the site.
Ugh.
But anyways, I just it's different enough that I think we need to go through a process of reviewing it. So maybe he should file an amendment. Um, I it's just like I said, it's different enough. And this is just our set of plans. This isn't what Norwell has.
Yeah.
As far as trying to, get everything on the same page, so we kind of know what's going on. I will say the plantings that were proposed, those all went in before he started his work. They're not reflected on the plan he showed. He resubmitted, but they were done last spring before he started working, before he even got his building permit. He got those in.
Well, that was good.
And we still okay with the town of Norwell with this?
Um,
Or are they okay with
they have their concerns. There's different things going on the Norwell side.
That's
Different I don't know, I'm gonna call them structures. I think there's a greenhouse. I think there's some solar power panels
Really?
going on the Norwell side that are not, I don't think, are on this plan that we're looking at.
No.
So
So I would really love to have a plan that actually shows what it
Everything.
is he wants to do, and have that submitted for review, comments, approval, whatever it is, so we can get back to knowing what's going on.
So wouldn't he have to do that and then request for an amendment? Well, actually, that's what he's doing, isn't he?
This is I asked him to send us a plan of what is going on there. If it's a modification, he doesn't want to, I tried to explain to him, you don't want to come to us for a certificate of compliance and have a completely different plan than what was approved. So if there's changes, get them to us and let us see them. And I would say after looking at this plan, I can't imagine him not filing an amendment versus it being a modification.
So what do we vote to ask him
I don't,
for?
I don't think we have to vote for anything.
Yeah.
No.
You
Have him get
just
to it.
tell him, Jen, that he
Yep.
needs to file.
A modification.
Yeah, no, an
Amendment, rather, sorry.
File for amendment.
Yep.
She needs the detail out, spelled
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds
Okay, what else?
Well, the minutes are good for the 17th and the 31st. I did actually read them.
Okay.
I needed to find out what happened.
Take a motion.
That's right, you weren't here.
I'll take a motion to accept those minutes.
I can't do that. I wasn't there.
Well, I can do the 17th. I wasn't here for the 31st. I make a motion, we accept the minutes of this March 17th as written.
Brendan or Eric, you want to?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of March 31st as written.
There we go. All in favor? Richard?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and Eric and me. Oh my God, it's only 7:45. Let's make this more
But
complicated.
we had town meeting the other night.
Okay, we did, and that was
interesting.
Fun.
I don't know if that's the right word for it.
Oh, it was fun, Frank.
It was interesting. That's the best I'll give it.
Okay.
Oh boy, what I missed.
Well, I had fun. I
Nothing.
sat next to my brother.
I cleaned out my phone.
I know. I saw you.
Oh well, it's our. So where else are we? Anything else?
No, open space. Let's talk about good stuff.
All right. Well, just so we had I think a really nice get together with some of the members and Josh and Jen, folks that are working on our community gardens, and also the volunteers that are keeping the trails clear, and had a chance to chat with everybody. Sometimes some folks could put a face to a name, and I was glad we were able to do that. Next time we're either going to start a little earlier or we're going to eat first.
Eat first, yeah.
Eat first.
But I was really happy that we were able to do that, and I think it's something we should try to do, at least on an annual basis, to touch base and get some input. And we're really appreciative. We wouldn't have what we have there without all those folks doing their thing.
I think they had some good ideas too.
They did. We have to get into some of that discussion about how we move forward with a couple of the pieces. So maybe we can make that a little internal workshop to start with, or whatever.
I think simple is critical. We want to make things as streamlined and efficient, while also addressing, some of the concerns.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's good if folks are going to help out and they want to be heard and they want to be able to get their input. At the same time, just say don't overcomplicate it with what it works. It's working. So, yeah, I'm glad we did that, and we'll certainly have some of those discussions internally as well. Anything else?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
Should we close the meeting?
I think we could. It's 10
Way
of
too
8.
early. We can't do that. It's way too early.
Oh, no.
Josh has already got his hand on the button. He's ready to go.
I make a motion to adjourn.
That's from Penny. Second?
I second that.
From Brendan. All in favor. Richard?
Yes.
And Eric?
Yes.
Frank, yes. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
have a good night.
Good night.
Have a good one, everyone.